Good afternoon, and welcome to NewsLab Live. I'm Daniela Marin. Last year's midterm elections saw the second highest national turnout in the past 3 decades among voters aged 18 to 29, according to Tufts Center for Information and Research on Civic Learning and Engagement. Are Montclair students equally prepared for this year's elections? We went around campus to get students' perspectives.
We asked students whether they know about upcoming elections.
I'll be honest, not really.
I actually don't. I need to educate myself a little more.
Actually, no. It's the first time that I haven't really followed anything with politics.
Are you registered to vote?
I'm registered to vote, so I was definitely planning on getting involved.
I have voted in previous elections.
I am registered to vote. I've been like that since 2020.
Do you know how to vote on campus?
I actually don't know how to vote on campus.
I don't know how to vote on campus.
On campus, no.
Part of participating is knowing when and where to vote. For students at Montclair, there are many ways to get involved. We discussed how with the Office of Civic and Voter Engagement.
In preparation for the 2023 election, the Office of Civic and Voter Engagement is helping students discover how they can become ready to vote come November. Warren Rigby, who works for the office, sat down with us for an interview.
Our campus is really unique when it comes to voting specifically. And the reason why I say that is because we happen to fall within 2 different counties. So part of the campus is on Essex County and part of the campus is on Passaic County. We're currently in the process of working out the scheduling right now as we speak with the Montclair State University's shuttle services. And we hope to have that information out for students by tomorrow.
Being on a college campus, the office is also sensitive to the needs of busy schedules.
So all polling locations are generally open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you have a really decent chunk on that. But what I'm trying to tell students that if they do have a really, really hectic schedule, take advantage of early voting, which started on Saturday, and it runs through November 5th. Utilize that opportunity, especially if you have a busy schedule, so that you can go on a Saturday or something like that, so that you can make sure that your voice gets heard through your vote.
The office is also holding a voter registration tabling event on the 6th.
So the tabling event really is just to help additionally provide students with knowledge as to where they can go. So we'll have QR codes so that they can utilize those and it takes you directly to the New Jersey Board of Elections website. All you have to do is, a student has to do is put in their information, so their street and their zip code, and it pulls up where their polling location is and the hours that their polling location is open for.
Rigby also told us the importance of students voting.
It's important, one, because you're leveraging your voice through your vote, right? But taking that a step further, right? If you have individuals that live in your township or in your area that may necessarily not be able to vote, right? So maybe they've immigrated here from another country and they're in the process of getting their citizenship or whatever it might be. That gives them an opportunity. That individual that is voting is actually it becomes a surrogate representation model, right? So they're voting for people that necessarily might not be able to vote.
This election cycle, the issue of abortion remains a focal point. New Jersey Democrats have once again placed abortion at the forefront of their campaigns, arguing even in a blue state like New Jersey, we could be one election away from losing abortion access. Looking into the NewsLab archive, we revisit a story from Focus Vote 2022, which asked then senior women the question, would they choose a job in a state that protects abortion even if it pays less?
As a female, I feel like we should have the option to get an abortion. I feel like it's a choice, and I don't think that it should be completely taken away from us like that.
I asked senior women on Montclair State University's campus, would you take a job in a state that would pay less but would support you more with reproductive rights? With the overturning of Roe v. Wade that came in the summer of 2022, this is an important question women in blue state New Jersey have to ask themselves. For Olivia Bonkowski, a senior nursing major going into labor and delivery with an obstetrics specialty, the answer is easy.
As a nursing student, again, going into that profession, there's so many risks for pregnancy complications in patients, such as ectopic pregnancy and postpartum hemorrhage. I just don't feel comfortable denying or delaying medication for a patient that's time sensitive.
Bonkowski explains there are medications that could help and are time sensitive, but in red states that do not protect reproductive rights could be seen as a form of birth control or cause an abortion. This makes the choice very easy for her to make. But for other women on campus, the question becomes harder to answer.
I want to say yes, through and through to my core, I am a feminist. But I also want to take a step back too, because I think about privilege, and I know that not everyone has the privilege to be able to say automatically, I would go, I would do that.
I would probably consider it because I think I could probably have a better quality of life in a state that fights for women's freedom to make that kind of choice. However, the question becomes more difficult because now I have to consider, do I put money second?
Since January of 1973, women thought they would not have to worry about their reproductive rights again after Roe v. Wade established a woman's right to choose by the Supreme Court. Until now. But in June of this year, Roe was overturned, leaving each state to decide whether to restrict or protect abortion rights. This has led to fear and worry among tens of millions of women. Monica Taylor is Director of Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies at Montclair State University, as well as Faculty Advisor for the Planned Parenthood group on campus. She wasn't shocked, but disappointed at the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
When I was in college, as a senior in 1989, I marched on Washington for women's rights, for pro-choice, and I really thought that this was something that we would just always have as a legal right.
Some students have the same concerns Taylor does about picking a state to live in.
I have a lot of close friends. I have some friends in Georgia and Florida, and I know that they have been vocal about it being them being nervous about it and saying something were to happen, even if a doctor could deny me access to birth control, I have to be quick to get on a plane and come to Jersey.
All three women feel extremely lucky to live in New Jersey where their rights will still be protected. But the choice of leaving for a job in a red state still lingers in the back of their minds.
I haven't met anybody who has had a challenge with it. I do know people who have had to, use, those resources, though, to get the help that they need. And I'm glad that, we live in a state that has that and is easily accessible. I remember some of my friends and family, when the whole thing just got, announced, a lot of people we're safe, we're in New Jersey. So we don't have to worry about it.
Career versus the right to choose. What would you choose? For Focus Vote 2022, What's at Stake? I'm Erin Lawlor.
School board elections have become very politicized in the past couple of years, and students have begun to take notice. Today we're joined by Montclair State University students Anthony Foster and Dominic Sama, who believe that local policymakers are too concerned with politics to deliver results, and young voices are the answer. That's why they are running for their local school boards. So,
pleasure to be with you.
Thank you for having
us.
Yes.
And I appreciate your time.
Of course.
And now I would like to know, what's your motivation behind running for both of you?
So I have to say, my motivation is pretty simple. It's to serve the community, give back to the community that has given me every chance and opportunity and key to succeed. The Long Branch, the city of Long Branch, like I said, gave me every opportunity throughout the Long Branch public school system. I went to Anastasia School from K through 5, and ultimately graduated from the high school in 2020 in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the reason why I'm running is to give young people a voice. I started getting involved maybe a few years ago, a few years ago, interning for my state senator and congressman, and through getting politically involved in the intern respect, I thought of getting involved in the electoral respect and actually knocking on doors and, like I said, giving back to my community and my fellow residents here in Long Branch. And that is why I'm running for the Board of Education. I'd be honored to serve.
That's an amazing reason to serve your community. I mean, that's so admirable. And for you, Anthony?
Yeah, like Dom said, serving the community, running for office is, I think, one of the most patriotic things you can do to serve your country and actually, speak for voters. But I grew up in my town of Evesham, went K through 12 all through Evesham, and I've always been interested in politics.
Yeah, of course.
But, I had some of my friends confide in me, and they told me how seriously close they were to actually harming themselves in middle school because just the resources weren't available for them. It's not like the 90s anymore where you can go home and the bully is gone. Now it's on your phone. Now they're everywhere, right? And so you have these people, and the help is not there for them. The people who are in office went to school back in the 80s, so they don't know what it's like. And we bring that perspective, and we want to address those issues. And like Dom said, it's really one of the most patriotic things you could do. And I don't know if you've had the same experience, but we're two young guys. People don't take us serious oftentimes. They're like, oh, you got long hair, you know what I'm saying? Like you're probably crazy. So actually doing something and standing for something has been a great help for people taking it seriously, and I think we actually can affect change, which is why I'm running.
Do you both think that by running and being so young, you're inspiring others in your community, maybe other children, other young people, and maybe you're a figure to look up to?
Maybe. Well, I was inspired to run by a guy who I found out ran while he was in high school. So maybe other people will realize, oh, he ran when he was a sophomore in college and you're a junior, So I don't know yet, but
listen, there's a number of us all around the state that I've been close, that I've grown close with. That my friend Nick Scotti, who's out in Nutley, he's on the school board there. Frank Velez, he's on the school board in Belleville. Through multiple mutual connections, from one connection to another, I found both of them ultimately, and throughout our friendship, they decided to run for the school board. Frank in 2020, Nick in 2021, and funny enough, I ran in 2022 last year. And honestly, it was an honor to run that year and just put my name on the ballot in one respect. But I ran with a running mate, I have to say, by the name of Reverend Caroline Bennett, who is she was a fixture in Long Branch, a really consequential community leader. And she has been passed since the end of January this past year. So in part, I am running in her honor. And I would like to get this right and also give young people a chance to have a voice on the school board, because the thing is that we don't have any school board members that are under the age of almost 40, I believe. So I think that we definitely need to bring in someone with that kind of immediate experience in the schools that knows what's going on. I mean, listen, I will be honest with you in that I played sports back then. I was involved as a student. I really enjoyed the teachers I had. They really cared for the students. They didn't think about it for the money. So what I want to do is support every single person in the community, whether you're the student, whether you're the parent, whether you're the taxpayer who may not have kids, because you're still paying into the school system. You're paying specifically 55% of property taxes that are going to be, that go into the state-funded school system. In Long Branch, we're lucky enough to have a $120 million budget. What I want to do getting into the Long Branch Board of Ed, along with my running mate, Ray Garland, is to make sure that we're fiscally responsible with the money, make sure that the resources are being utilized in the best of ways, and we want to put simply, we want to make sure that we fight for every single person in the community. We fight wholly for the future of Long Branch, and I know that Anthony wants to do the same, as well as in Evesham.
That sounds great, that you guys are giving a fresh new taste to the school and the education. And not only that, but you guys talked about the budget. So my next question is, with that, do you feel inflation with the pandemic and everything like that has taken a toll on the budget?
Right. So, Evesham's budget was $80 million. It's been $80 million since 2016. In 2016, it was like $78 million, 79. So anyway, it's been about $80 million. But inflation since 2016 has not been flat. I mean, inflation since 2016 is about just under 25%, right? So if the budget has stayed constant, but inflation is about 25%, what you're really looking at is a 25% reduction in purchasing power, right? The Evesham School District is expected to provide the same curriculum, the same extracurriculars at 25% less dollars, basically.
Yeah.
Right? They have to provide all the same services, they have to give all the same benefits to the teachers, or else there's going to be a massive uprising, and they have to do it with a quarter less money. And that's not even including the $7 million the state took away from our school district. Next year, our district is scheduled to receive $700,000 less dollars in the state. They're going to take the money away from us.
I see. And
So-
have you seen any effects through that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was a serious consideration taking away health benefits from paraprofessionals and, not teachers directly, but, their aides, taking away their health benefits, cutting their hours, cutting busing obviously has been an issue. And it's only a matter of time. I mean, we can't fight inflation, right? If you can only raise taxes 2% and inflation is 5%, you're going to see a reduction in 3%, Or if your budget is stayed constant, but inflation is 25%, how are you going to cut 25? Like if I told you you had to lose 25% of your salary, what are you going to do? You got to move. Like you know what I'm saying? But we're expected to provide the exact same services, and I mean you're seeing a massive impact. Like we had to cut a bus route that took children over basically a highway, right? And so now they're going to have a crossing guard, but I tell people it's like a matter of time before a kid gets flattened before they do something about it.
I know.
Right.
And with that, I'm so glad that you guys are here and expressing your concerns, what's going on in your communities, and I appreciate the time that we've had today. Thank you for joining us. And that's all for this week's premiere episode of NewsLab Live. Until next time, I'm Daniela Marin. Thanks for watching.